get into child's pose, please. So relax your hips onto your heels. Thank you, Winston. Your forehead towards the floor. And I invite you, and will continue to invite you over the next 59 minutes to close your eyes and let the visual component of this practice be used in a very specific way, so that the majority of your awareness can be cultivated from an inner eye, an inner awareness. And as you settle into your child's pose and you allow the mat to carry the weight of your body, notice if perhaps today's child's pose desires some customization. So perhaps it's bringing your feet wider than your knees today, or drawing your arms back behind you with the palms facing up and allowing your shoulders to fall softly down towards the floor without the need to prop them up using the arms. Settling in and noticing about the breath. So with the eyes closed, wherever you are, go ahead and exhale completely, empty, empty, empty. And then greet that with a full, exaggerated breath. So fill up the belly, spread the back, hold it at its peak. And exhale audibly, H-A. And then beginning to play around with that simple way of communicating from your body through the rest. Maybe it's an HM, or an SH. And this is the barometer. So if ever your breath becomes choppy or held or strained, or you feel like you're fighting to get that full swelling of an inhale and a relaxation of an exhale, stop. I encourage you to stop and come back here to child's pose, reconnect with your breath, and then join us when you have it. So one more time before we begin shifting shapes, go ahead and exhale completely, perhaps an SH. Greet that with a very deep, 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 full inhale. Open mouth, exhale, HA. Begin to stretch the arms long out in front of you. Maybe even float the palms up so you're just crawling up onto your fingertips. Feel a gentle stretching along both sides of the body. And then on your next exhale, curl the toes under, send your hips up high, heels down low. And before we commit to anything like a downward facing dog, begin to move. Right? And if you haven't practiced with us before, and this time of playfulness seems unfamiliar in a yoga class, it's almost as though you're taking the chance to yawn open your body. So no matter what time zone you're practicing in, whether you just rolled out of bed or have been awake for hours, right? Allow this moment of sensitivity of the eyes being closed to be a sweet stretch. And take your time. And if you move in one way and it doesn't feel good, then move in a different way. And if you find that sweet sensation, follow that path and see how full and rich and deep the sweetness can go. And then slowly we will begin to clean up this downward facing dog so it does become a bit more specific. Go ahead and come into an upper push-up plank position by shifting your shoulders over your wrists and then keeping the hips up in line with those shoulders. So if you glance down at your hands, they're directly underneath the shoulders and the fingers are spread very wide. So almost like the index finger and the thumb are creating a nice L shape. Keep pushing into all the knuckles of the hands. So the palms are like suction cups. There's a bit of air underneath the palms. Slight bend behind the elbows. Now get the heels over the toes. So immediately you're stretching the bottoms of your feet. Pull up on the quads. Imagine that you're knitting the top points of your hip bones towards your lowest ribs. So the abdominal wall is active. And then take a full breath here. And as you exhale, send the hips up high, heels down low. That is your down dog. Nod the head, yes. Shake it out, no. If you glance behind you, now you can see your feet. All 10 toes are facing forward, and it's as though you could slide your skull in between the feet. So there are good hips with distance. Soften behind the knees. Use the strength of your arms to push the weight back towards the legs, and then begin to send your tailbone high up towards the sky. Wherever you are with your breath, exhale completely. Take a full, big, vibrant inhale, and then exhale, let it spill. Keep the hands exactly as they are. On your inhale, stretch your right leg up and back, go for length. And then imagine that the eye of the hip bone is pointing down towards the floor. And then you can flex your foot or point the toes back, but whatever you're going for, really search for that length all along right side body. So we're not dumping the weight into the left palm. Inhale, lift the leg a little bit higher. Exhale, maybe roll open the hip. Bend your knee. Maybe if you have the space, you completely flip your dog and you stretch the arm up. But again, I'm going to encourage you that this movement isn't habitual and it's not predicated on what you think you should be doing this morning. Right? Stretching open the body. If you can explore this movement of improvisation with the eyes closed, please do so. Take one more inhale, slowly begin to stretch the right leg up, up, up. And then exhale, gently place the foot all the way forward in between your palms. Drop your back knee down onto the floor, untuck your back toes, and then interlock all 10 fingers on top of that quad just below the knee. So here we're not worrying so much about balance. Instead, again, we're opening a gentle tenderness on a very specific side of the body. So here, push down into the back foot, really anchor down through that shin, and then squeeze that left buttocks hip really tight. So now we can open up that left hip flexor. The more you engage one side of the body, the more open that opposite side of the body is going to become. Now, if you're okay here, you can begin to drop the hips down and forward. If you want to go for a little bit of back bend, perhaps begin to straighten up the arms. Use the inhale to puff up the chest and chin. And then if you still want to explore a little bit more, maybe you interlock the fingers behind the nape of the neck, spread the elbows wide, puff up the chest one more time. So beautiful, Phil. Wherever you are, take a smooth inhale in, a complete exhale out, and then gently release both hands down to frame the front foot. Untuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Inhale, extend your right leg up for that 3-leg down dog. Exhale, gently release it down towards the floor. And then opposite, inhale the left leg up. Length, long, find the sweet spot all along left side body. Push evenly into both thumbs and index fingers and notice what's happening in the sides of your neck. Can you let the weight of the head drop? Pull a little bit more traction out of the spine. Inhale, lift the leg a little bit higher, and then exhale, roll open the hip or bend the knee or whatever it is. And if you're not sure, if the mind is really wanting to assist in the movement of the body, go ahead and let it. But again, check in with the sensation, check in with your breath. Can you use the breath to nourish and expand on that stretch? These look really, really beautiful. Everyone's really opening up. All right, inhale, lift that leg up and back. Find that sweet point. Exhale with care. Gently bring the foot all the way forward in between your hands. Drop down to your back knee. Untuck your back toes and then interlock all 10 fingers on top of that thigh. And then close your eyes and allow any analyzing to be of the sensation in the body. So notice what happens when you really ignite and push down through the top of your back foot. Squeeze that right buttocks cheek nice and firmly. So suddenly that band across right hip flexor can expand. And then you decide whether to drop the hips more forward or to bring the hands behind the nape of the neck. Maybe it is your low back this morning. Find a place that you can breathe fully and deeply with no strain, with a lightness. Wherever you are, take a full inhale, a complete exhale, and then gently release both hands down. Step the left leg back into that 3-leg down dog. Lift it up, 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 and gently release it down. Bend your knees very deeply now. Come to the very tops of the toes. Try to kiss the hips down towards the heels. Look forward, and then take tiny steps all the way to the front of the mat. Tiny because I don't want you to miss it, right? As we step our feet in between our hands, we separate the feet so they're at least hips width distance. All 10 toes face forward. And if you want to measure your hips width, just curl 2 fists down on the floor in between the arches. That's a good anatomical distance. Bend your knees so that the torso lies heavy on the thighs. And then you decide whether to grab for opposite elbow. Maybe interlace the fingers behind the nape of the neck or the back. Finding this nice heavy forward fold. And there's very little to do. So allow your body to do very little. Right? Gravity can take you. So some of you, you can sway, you can bounce, whatever you need to do. Allow the eyes to be closed. Allow the face to be soft. So suddenly it's just these pockets of air that we can send to different places of the body and expand what is already there. Allow the hands to drop. And then on your next inhale, we'll come into a halfway lift. So find a flat back, a firm belly, lifting your torso about 90 degrees from the legs. Shift your weight more forward into the balls of the feet. And on an exhale, you'll collapse forward, back into that forward fold, nice and heavy. So we go from active to soft quite frequently in this class, and we become really good at it. So we use the breath to influence those moments. Let's try it once more, a little bit quicker. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins or thighs, long neck, firm belly. Exhale, we collapse. On the following inhale, sweep the arms up, forward, all the way to standing. Hands come shoulder width, palms face one another. Tadasana, mountain pose. And once you arrive, you settle into it with an exhale. And you allow the weight distribution between the feet to become even. So check it out at first. Maybe you sway from side to side, front and back. Perhaps it's lifting the toes up. Try to get your toes long. And then place each one back down on the mat, getting firmly rooted, lifting up through the arches by pulling slightly on the thighs, tucking the tailbone just a fraction, and then pulling the navel in. And when you do so, it's not to compress or restrict air. Rather, it's to allow a lightness and a buoyancy to expand from waist to lungs. So that every inhale, we find ourselves getting a little taller all the way up through all 10 fingers. And every exhale, we find a firm rootedness in the legs that allows the structure of our body simply to hold us up. If the eyes are closed, go ahead and flutter the gaze up in between your hands. On an inhale, stretch the arms up, push your hips forward for a gentle back bend. On your exhale, glide all the way forward and down, forward fold, really heavy. On an inhale, find that halfway lift again, please. Exhale, release both hands down. Step both feet back, pause in your upper push-up plank. Our Vinyasa practice is called Vinyasa because we flow and link every posture together using this Chaturanga flow. So it begins here. Get your shoulders over your wrists, your hips up in line with the shoulders, and again, trying to knit our low ribs in so we're not allowing the belly to sway. Pull up on the top of your quads. Now listen carefully. Take a full inhale, press away from the floor into your thumbs. Exhale, lower just above halfway so the elbows point straight up and back. And then use your feet. Inhale, draw your heart forward, untuck the toes, press the arms straight for up dog. On your exhale, curl the toes under, lift your hips up high, heels down low, and that is our flow. And if ever it becomes overwhelming, or you simply feel like you're not in it, child's pose, or use your knees, but get the most out of your practice every moment. Deeply bend your knees, glance forward, step, or maybe you can hop in between your feet, or in between your hands. Inhale into a halfway lift, get nice and long, weight forward. Exhale, release. Bring your feet together now so your toes and heels touch. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, palms pressed, a variation on that Tadasana. So it's a very simple pose. We stand all the time. It doesn't mean we're conscious about how we're standing. Now with the feet close together and our base of balance smaller, where does the weight fall? Get it even. Pull up on the knees, squeeze the glutes just a fraction. So now we can puff up our chest and lift slightly behind our heart. Cross your thumbs, squeeze them like mad. So now you feel heat as one side of your body connects to the other. Glance up where the palms touch. And on your inhale, find that back bend, hips forward, arms back. Exhale, lengthen and dive forward. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Use your core to ignite that length in the spine. Exhale, release, hands down. Step, if you jump back, land with the elbows bent. Inhale into up dog, pull the sides of your waist forward. Exhale into down dog, and now you do it on your own. You'll bend the knees, glance forward, hop or step in between your hands. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then you decide feet together or apart. Inhale, come all the way up. Continue into that back bend until you find a sweet spot. And as soon as you exhale, you release forward and down. Yeah, and we do it on our own. Keep going, not counting. And notice the value in becoming familiar with something is actually in the freedom of that form. So whether the feet are together, the hands are together or apart, you're moving on your inhale. You're exploring and experiencing on your exhale. Yeah, and as the body becomes warmer and perhaps the heart rate increases, perhaps the breath rate also wants to quicken. Notice if you can find a good balance or marriage between both. And then one more time, coming up through that Tadasana. And then we will all meet in downward facing dog. And if you get there before everyone else, use it. Make it a moment, right? So choosing to allow this down dog to be the best it can be. Keep pushing into all 10 fingers. Wrap the armpits forward so it's as though they could peek at one another in front of the chest, and relax the neck. So the head is very heavy, soft behind the knees. It's really good, Winston. Wherever you are with the breath, exhale completely, empty, empty, empty. Take a full exaggerated inhale. Exhale, HA. On your inhale, glide your right leg up. Find that nice sweet point. On your exhale, bring the foot all the way forward in between your hands. Keep your back heel lifted so all 10 toes are facing forward. And then inhale, glide the arms up, torso up, crescent lunge. So allowing the right knee to stack over the right ankle and keeping that back heel lifted, shifting the heel more over the toes. So again, allowing your feet, your fingers to be part of this practice.
The back leg is nice, long, and strong, and if it helps you to bend and straighten the back leg a few times, do so. That way you can notice the difference and then choose to pull up on that quad. Choose to squeeze that left butt cheek like mad, and then gently begin to push your right hip back, left hip forward, so the hips are nice and square. If the hands or if the arms are nice, long, and strong, maybe even bring the palms to press above the head. And then rotate the outside edges of the pinkies so that you have a firm grip in between both hands. Soften the jaw, soften the face. Can you close your eyes and allow the balance to come from within and not from without anything relational? Wherever you are, take a deep inhale. Maybe you sit a little bit lower. Maybe you stretch the arms back for that back bend again. And then exhale, release both hands down. Right leg back. Upper push-up to lower push-up. Inhale, push into your thumbs for your up dog. Exhale, use your core. Curl the toes under, find your down dog. And then we'll move into our left side. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, gently place the foot in between your palms, toes in line with the tips of your fingers, back heel stays lifted. Inhale, arms up, torso up, crescent lunge, right side. So your right and left side will inherently feel a little bit different, right? So adjust your stance in the way that it needs to. Maybe on this side, we need to back out of the lunge to find the balance a bit more. Or perhaps we can sit a fraction deeper. Notice that the heel is coming directly over the toes behind you. And then if it helped to bend and straighten the back knee a few times, go for it. Right? If it didn't help you, don't use it. Whatever you're doing, squeeze the back quad, that back right butt cheek. Begin to send your right hip forward and left hip back. If the arms are long and strong, press the palms above you. Hook only the thumbs. And then we're not holding or clenching onto the pose. With the eyes closed, can you allow a buoyancy, right, that allows any of the shakiness or wobbling to feel safe? Take a smooth inhale to drop the hips low, to stretch the arms back. Exhale, release, hands down. Left leg long and flow. Full inhale, complete exhale, and then your breath, your movement, crescent lunge on right side, left side. So inhale, stretch the right leg up. Only when you begin to exhale do you bring your foot forward. One full inhale to glide the arms up, and as soon as the exhale begins, you're placing the hands down. So you're not holding on to any of the shapes in this flow. You're letting the breath move you. Inhale, I move. Exhale, I move. That is the rhythm. And the beauty about that is you don't have to think about it, really. Once you have that marriage between body, breath, and movement, suddenly all you have to do is feel. These look really good. And then once you find downward facing dog, go ahead and exhale completely, empty, empty, empty. Take a full exaggerated inhale. Open mouth, exhale, HA. Inhale, glide that right leg up and back again, please. On your exhale, step it forward in between your palms. Inhale, back up into that crescent lunge. And then exhale, find warrior two. Right arm forward, left arm back, back heel down. And you may need to adjust the stance by separating the feet a little bit wider. Whatever you do, glance over the front knee and make sure you can see a sliver of that big right toe so the knee isn't knocking in or being pushed out. Press into the outside edge of your back foot and then allow the pelvic muscle or the pelvic bowl to open by pushing the hips slightly forward, by leaning the upper body back so shoulders and hips are stacked. Belly is drawn in just a fraction and it allows for the torso to lengthen. Spread your fingers wide and stretch the arms apart and then glance over the right shoulder. And allow the gaze to either be slightly soft and blurry or completely shut. And then notice if you can feel and sense for the heartbeat. And if you can begin to deepen your breath, even though the body is being stretched, the muscles are being asked to be very active. Can you allow the breath to radiate from fingertip to fingertip, from ankle to ankle, from belly through crown of head? Wherever you are, exhale completely. Take a deep, deep, full inhale, expand and stretch, take up space. Exhale, HA, cartwheel the hands down. Step your right leg back and flow. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bring it forward. Back heel stays lifted. Inhale, arms up, crescent lunge. Exhale, peel open. Right heel down, left arm forward, right arm back, warrior two. So cleaning it up as best you can and establishing the stance that works on this side. Keep pushing into the outside edge of your back foot. Keep the front knee directly over the center of your front foot. And then hips slightly forward, upper body slightly back. Belly drawn in and you're lifting through the torso as you extend through the arms and the legs. And then if you're softened your gaze over the left shoulder, perhaps you can even allow the lids to completely shut and listen for those internal rhythms. Because whether or not we choose to acknowledge them, they are there. And the heartbeat and the rate of your breath have so much influence on how we are day to day, moment by moment. It's valuable to take the time to listen to them and sense what our body is saying. What are you experiencing? Wherever you are, please exhale completely, really force it out. Take a full, voluptuous inhale. Fill up every crevice, every hollow. Exhale, cartwheel both hands down. Step the left leg long and then find upper push-up to lower push-up. Resist gravity as you lower. Inhale, full lungs, up dog. Exhale, completely empty, down dog. And then it's yours, one breath, one movement. Right side, left side. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, bring it forward. You find a full crescent lunge. Extend through the tips of your fingers. You find an exaggerated warrior two as you exhale, become empty. And then inhale to fill up that shape. Exhale to deliberately place the hands down. Step your right leg back and flow. And I will emphasize deliberacy and I will emphasize intent because it matters. Your yoga practice is not another place where you get to torture yourself with expectations or criticism of observation. Right? Rather, it's a place where you get to enjoy. It should feel good. Right? So notice, be committed. What is the mantra you are telling yourself as you flow from right side to left side? And we'll do it one more time. Give yourself the opportunity to close your eyes and get committed to something bigger than what you see outside. Get committed to something bigger than perhaps the pictures that replay in your mind's eye. What does it feel like? Have you ever been in a relationship with somebody who wasn't very good at expressing their feelings and you wondered why? Or perhaps you yourself have a hard time admitting when you feel something that is outside the socially accepted norm to communicate. Yoga is about not only getting to know those feelings, but learning how to aptly express them. And that begins with your breath. right? Your ability to speak begins with your breath. So whether it is a ha, or a or a shh, allow that frequency of breath to reflect what you feel. Once you've completed your left side, we'll all meet in down dog. Keep pushing into your thumbs. Relax behind the kneecaps. We don't need to force or make it so tight. Wherever you are, exhale, exhale, exhale. Take a deep inhale. Open mouth, exhale, HA. Bend your knees very deeply now. Glance forward and go ahead and hop in between your hands. You can do it. Yes, you can. You just did. Awesome. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, release, forward fold, very heavy. Separate your feet about hips with distance. All 10 toes are going to face forward, and then on your next inhale, sit your hips down, arms up, chair pose. Keep chair pose exactly as it sounds, as though you had a little chair behind you and you were trying to sit into it, but you don't fall back, you don't rest because you keep stretching the torso up and forward. So you have to hinge. You have to bend at your knees, you got to stick your booty back, and you have to allow the torso to lean forward. Glance over the knees and make sure they're facing over the center lines of your feet. And then pull the navel in, arch just between the shoulder blades, and then allow the pinkies to face in towards one another so shoulder blades can rest down, so armpits can be hollow. As the arms are long and strong, the joints are soft, so maybe you can even bring the biceps a bit further back by the ears. Close the eyes, soften the throat, and find a breath, a way of breathing that sustains the moment. Whether it's a ha, or a or a shh. Keep sitting your hips down and back. Keep stretching the arms long. Don't let them get lax. Don't take them for granted. Take a full inhale, sit low, stretch. Exhale, collapse forward, Raggedy Andy. Nod the head, yes. Shake it out, no. Let it go. Let the head be very, very heavy. And then find your stillness again. As you exhale, start with a very firm core. So squeeze in the abdomen, really nice and tight. And then inhale, inflate you, hips down, arms up, second set. Second set, immediately close your eyes. You have the form and the structure in the body. Now infuse the practice, sense for it. Right? Find that place that's a bit challenging, and then meet that with a bit of levity and lightness in the heart. You're not getting serious, and it's not so stoic. Right? It doesn't take away the challenge. It doesn't innately have a label. So notice the quality of your breath, and if you can use it, and commit to it in a way that allows your body to ignite, to fire up, and to feel good, even in the midst of a challenge or warmth being created. Find the quiet that lives within the vibrations of your breath. You've got it. This is it. We're not going to do another one, so don't give it away. Don't take it for granted. Use it for 3. Stretch long in the spine for 2. Release, forward fold, hang heavy. Really, really nice. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, release, hands down. Step or jump the feet back. Come through your flow. Full inhale, get the arms straight. Full exhale. Relax the belly, right? Notice when the head is below the heart, the belly can hang and soften, perhaps even into the basket of the rib cage, right? We're not forcing, we're not fighting, we're letting the body become familiar. On your inhale, lift your right leg up. On your exhale, step it forward in between your palms. Inhale up into Crescent Lunge and hold it. Okay, and then as you find your crescent lunge, clean it up, close your eyes, and forget about what it's supposed to look like. Allowing yourself to get comfortable with the wiggles or jiggles, or perhaps because we've been here a few times, it's familiar enough that you can soften into it and simply focus on the breath. Every inhale, I lengthen through my torso, I straighten my back leg a bit more. Every exhale, I sit my hips a little lower, left hip forward, right hip back. Take a smooth inhale. On your exhale, bring your left arm forward, your right arm back for a gentle twist. And this can be a very mind-filled posture. You might be thinking, I can't go that far. That's okay. We're building strength in our torso to create awareness to find a twist. So maybe as you glance over that right shoulder, you can stretch the right arm further back. Or perhaps the gaze needs to remain forward. Notice what's happening in the left fingers. Stretch them. Try to keep the torso exactly even between your legs. Take a smooth inhale. Exhale, bring your right hand to the top of your back hamstring, thigh. Lift your left arm straight up to the sky, Exalted Warrior. Keep pushing your hips forward. Open up the throat, the chin. I know it might feel a little bit wiggly. Stay in it. Keep the back leg strong. That's your anchor. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, release left hand down, right hand down, right leg back, lower and flow. Inhale all the way up to your collarbones and up dog. Exhale, expel the air completely so that you're empty. And then inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Back heel lifted. Inhale, find your crescent lunge. Pressing the hands above you. Noticing if you can let go the commitment you have to the shape. Where your body lands, it lands. So there's no need to fidget or fix or adjust anymore. There comes a point in this practice where it really just isn't about that at all. And rather it's about respecting what our body can do and then being grateful for it. Every inhale, I find a length and an expansion. And every exhale, I soften so my right hip can come forward, so my left hip can come back. If the eyes are closed, they can remain so, or on your next inhale, as you sit a little bit lower, exhale, stretch your left arm behind you. Maybe you follow the gaze there, and right arm out in front. Gentle twist, and the goal isn't how far and deep I twist. It's more of a barometer as you stay rooted down through your back heel or your back ball of your foot. That front heel stays firmly rooted on the floor, and the twist originates just above the belly button. Notice if you're leaning far forward or falling behind. Try to get the torso even between both legs. Looks really good, Sarah. Take one more inhale, and then, yep, you got it. Release. Left hand to the top of your back leg. Right arm high to the sky, Exalted Warrior. You can glance up at that right hand if it helps to find the balance. Stay with it. Try to puff up the chest so you lean back into a supported back bend. Take one more inhale here. Exhale. Release. Right hand down, left hand down. Left leg behind you, and flow. You can do this. Notice if your mind is like, what? And let the mind have that moment. Notice what's happening with the breath. Take a full inhale on your own, a complete exhale on your own, and then you've got this on your own. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, bring it forward. It's one inhale into crescent lunge. Exhale to expand into that beautiful twist. Inhale to exalt your warrior. Find a mindfulness that lets it feel good. And an exhale to release the hands down, to step it back and flow. Conscious and full right into your left side. As you lift the left leg up, let it feel good. Don't just kick it up. As you bring it forward, deliberately place the foot. Right. Find your twist. Exalt that space in the body that allows the heart to be lifted. And then release the hands down. It looks really good, Travis. Keep that back leg really, really firm. And then once you find downward dog, notice how it might have changed. Head is heavy. Tailbone nice and long towards the sky. Push into your thumbs wherever you are. Exhale, please. Take a deep, deep, deep inhale. And exhale, HA. Bend your knees. Glance forward. Silently hop in between your palms. That was very good, Lauren. That was all the way in between your hands. Inhale into a halfway lift. And exhale, release. Feet together now. Toes and heels will touch. On an inhale, sit your hips down. Bring your arms up. Palms pressed for Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is the same shape as chair pose. From the side, we have these nice deep angles, only now we're squeezing everything in towards the center line of the body. So try to get your inner thighs, your knees at least to touch. Pull the belly in. Imagine the top hip points making their way closer to the lowest rib so we're not hanging out in the torso. Squeeze your palms, cross just your thumbs. Take a smooth inhale, iron out the elbows, get them long. Exhale, melt the hands to heart center. Push your thumbs into the sternum, keep them connected. Inhale, sit the hips a little bit lower, puff up the breastbone. Exhale, hinge forward, bring the left elbow outside of the right knee. So we get this gentle twist, again, originating from the belly, just above the belly button. Only now we can use the contact of the elbow into that leg to exaggerate the twist. And if you can't quite get it, just wrap your forearm around it. Yeah, exactly. Push your top hand into bottom hand. And then if you want to fly away, you certainly can. Left hand down, right arm up. If you want to go for a bind, maybe drop that top arm behind your back, grab for inner thigh or just under the legs, reaching for that left arm. So nice, Phil. I wish everyone could see you right now because some of them think I'm asking the impossible. Roll it open, breathe into it. Exhale with control, come right back to center. Now stay low in your hips, stay lifted in the heart. Inhale, exhale opposite, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Now stay in it. It's only a moment, so keep squeezing your thighs tight. Tuck your right hip back so that the knees stay in one line. That's really good. Caitlin, can you shift your right hip back even more? Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Now push your top hand into the bottom, and then you decide to fly away. Maybe you bind. If you go to a place where it's like, no, I won't, then don't, right? But if you can, right, use your breath, keep the collarbones open, stay with it, take one more full breath in. Exhale with control and patience, come back to center. Take your time. Take a full inhale, sit low, squeeze the hands together. Exhale, collapse forward, fold. So nice. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, release the hands down, step or jump the feet back. Pause in your upward push-up plank. Pause in your upward push-up plank. And if you're like, oh shit, oh no, let the mind go there. Let the breath feel fully for it, okay? So you gotta stay committed or not. Take a deep inhale, exhale, lower halfway down, just halfway. And then squeeze it out. Pull up on your quads, please. Take a deep inhale, exhale, lower, just halfway. Only halfway. Squeeze it out, chin away from chest. You can do this. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, lower, halfway there. Hold it. Squeeze it out. Upper push-up plank. Upper push-up plank. We can't get too serious in this practice or we lose it or it becomes like everything else. It's not about perfection. We just have to try for it. Pull the belly in, please. And on your next inhale, lift your right leg up. Lift your left arm forward. And breathe. So as you try to maintain balance, keep pushing into your thumb. Keep spreading your left fingers, thumb up towards the ceiling. Keep flexing or pointing your toes and use your breath. You've got it for 3. You've got it for 2. Upper push-up plank. Push up your heels back, stretch the bottoms of your feet. Take a deep inhale, opposite. Left leg up, right arm forward. I would never ask the impossible of you, but I will ask you to try. Keep breathing, your body's warmed up for it. Push into your thumb, stretch the right arm forward, stretch the left toes back. Breathe into it for 3. Feel forward for 2. Upper push-up plank. Inhale fully, press away from the floor. Exhale, downward facing dog. Yeah, you're like, where's child's pose? Well, something like it's a coming. Inhale, the right leg up. Exhale, bring it into your half pigeon. Right knee wider than your hip or shoulder. Drop down to the back knee. Untuck the back toes. Square off your hips so that you're not rolling from one side or the other. Inhale, lengthen through the chin and the chest. Exhale, lengthen yourself forward. Capture the head with the hands, or allow it to rest on a pillow maybe, or the mat. And listen for your heart. And listen for the breath. And notice the spaces in your body that are willingly melting into the floor. And if your energy is being called to spaces that might have a bit more resistance, send your breath there. And sometimes it does help to visualize. Can you see a color that is your breath filling up every crevice, massaging every hollow? Can you find the places where silence and quiet is held and loves to be? And can you spread that silence and quiet through your entire being, as though it were a home you readily want to slip into? There is a possibility that this silence, when you really get intimate with it, can be accessed anytime you need it. You don't need to go through 6 flows, a few chair poses, and some weird push-ups to find it. After a while, you know exactly where it resides. And when you find those moments in everyday life that rub up against you perhaps in the wrong way, you are more readily able to access it, to breathe, and then respond from this place of knowing, of compassion. I believe it's where love also lives. Wherever you are with your breath, please exhale completely. Take a full, deep inhale. Vibrational exhale. Slowly take your time as you press up from the floor. Enjoy any sensation that comes as you stretch your right leg back. And you can either go through a flow, you can simply find a plank, or maybe it's down dog. But transition into your left side in a way that's very customized to your body's needs right now. That's really beautiful, Dan. That looks like it felt really good. And as we find half pigeon on our left side, be mindful that the knee truly is wider than the torso, than the hip or the shoulder. So allow the full breadth of that hip to be open in this stretch. So whether the muscles around it or not are tight, we give ourselves the best opportunity to relax into that space. Back leg is long, and we're rolling not from side to side, but really allowing the energy to be at the center of that back foot. And then capture yourself with the forearms. Or again, if you have a pillow, use a pillow. Let your belly hang. Yet let your throat be open and your jaw soft. One of the things that I find really interesting as someone who's been through several shape-shifting, be it birthing babies or hospitalizations due to illness, I feel like I've had the privilege of witnessing my body go through a lot of different changes. And one of the things I learned after my last transformation, so to speak, is that that hyoid bone, the Adam's apple, that thing that floats kind of in the throat and isn't connected to any bone, the fascia that surrounds it is directly connected to the fascia of your pelvis. And so many people, I think, are familiar with the throat choked feeling, like if you want to yell at somebody or you're trying to suppress a cry or a laugh, you feel that tightness in the throat. And that tightness can readily affect the tightness in the pelvis, which can readily affect the tightness in the gut. And it's kind of this roundabout, a symbiotic relationship where if one of those 3 points is held, then the other 2 will be affected. I've found that half pigeon, even though it's so often referred to as a hip opener, can be a really safe shape for those other 3 spaces to relax and soften, and a really great shape for vibrational breath to ripple freely. So we'll take one of those all together. Wherever you are, please exhale completely empty, empty, empty. Take a full, exaggerated inhale. And exhale, HA. Take your time as you peel and stretch yourself up. As you draw the left leg behind you. And I invite you to come through one last flow of class, being so mindful, feeling so fully, so that when you find this last downward facing dog of class, you know it's completely yours. And you find a way to say goodbye to it, pedaling out the feet, rocking the head, maybe it's shimming the shoulders, customizing these last few moments so that this class is yours. And then finding last down dog, very, very, very active and strong. Take a deep, deep, deep inhale. A complete exhale. And then soften down to the tops of your knees. Relax the hips back onto your heels. And bring the hands either to your thighs, the palms facing down or up. Maybe the hands come to heart center. If the hands are at your heart center, again, can you hear or feel for your heartbeat or breath? This
beautiful, I would say, organic and completely unique rhythm to yourself. And then notice from here if there's something that you desire, a space in your body that these specific asanas today haven't quite reached. And then take the next few moments or so to give yourself the asana, the postures that you need to end class. So from here it can be some core work. Maybe it's a forward fold by bringing the legs long out in front and stretch the arms forward. Or maybe it's a bridge, wheel, plow, or a savasana. At Yoga to the People, we understand that we guide you through these postures, but it's not us, the teacher, who gives you the benefits of them. We don't know your body like you do. And when you come onto your yoga mat, you don't just deserve to get to know your body. You begin practicing giving yourself what you need. As you end your practice, just a couple of announcements. If throughout this class you have felt something that you don't necessarily feel or get through anything else in your day, right? If the idea of coming to your yoga mat gets you excited and you look forward to it, you should share it. You know, you invite friends or family, or perhaps you join us in this next teacher training. It's coming up at the end of May, and if you're very curious, you and I can speak about it after class, or we have an open house this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern time with some of our lead trainers, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Slowly begin to bring your legs long out in front of you. Lay down on your mat with your arms by your sides and the palms facing up. Tuck your chin into your chest and allow your head to roll from side to side until it finds a sweet resting point. Close the eyes and allow Shavasana to roll over you. Yoga to the People is a donation-only studio. We don't live and operate because of the generosity of some invisible soul. Rather, we really do exist because of your contributions. So you can visit yogatothepeople.com and click the donate button. And if you're not in the position to do so today, keep spreading the word, keep coming back. Post about the classes on your social media or share it with friends and family. We are here so long as you continue to show up. I thank each and every one of you for showing up. Our class ends with a quote today. Mother Teresa, she said, "Let us always meet each other with smiles, for a smile is the beginning of love." One last collective breath. Please hiss out all of your air. And then meet that with a full, voluptuous inhale from below the navel, through the ribs. It hits the heart. Hold it. Exhale, HA. Thank you for class. You're welcome to stay in your Shavasana if your time permits. Or you can gently transition to a side, roll yourself up.